What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. It's finally here, the data download as soon as we logged in today at news time. Data download 37 megabytes, put in the Land of Wano Sugo Fest, the Sugo Fest that I've been saying for such a long time. This is the one that you want to be pulling for. This will be debuting on the 25th of May, 1900 PST time, and you guys already know I will be live streaming my Sugo Fest pulls, so definitely look forward to it. I can't wait to get into this. In this video today, we're going to go over... the actual characters, because the Sugo Fest structure is very interesting, and I want to kind of make a separate video about that. But in this video today, I want to talk about just all of the new characters that are going to be arriving in this Sugo Fest. You can see that there is going to be a free multi. There's going to be one with boosted Luffy Zoro, and then one with Soba Mask. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. There's a lot of characters to talk about here. Some of them are kind of a little bit tricky to talk about, especially Soba Mask, because his captain ability is so lengthy, because he has a captain action. Luffy and Zoro have like 3 separate captain abilities because of being a dual unit, of course. So let's go ahead and start things off with this brand new Frenosuke, of course, because they all have their Wano names, except for Carrot, I think. I think Carrot is still actually called Carrot. But either way, Frenosuke is an int free spirit fighter character. His captain ability will boost int characters' attack by 2.75, make their tandem slots have matching slot effects. Yeah, nothing too great here. You will notice a lot with this batch that tandem slots are going to be relatively important for both of the Sugo Fest exclusives. Tandems are very, very important, so a lot of the characters in this batch will do stuff relating to tandem slots, so definitely look forward to it. So his special ability maxes down at 10 turns after his limit break, and it will state that it reduces your crew's burn duration by 3 turns, reduces enemies' resilience buffs also by 3 turns, and changes adjacent slots into tandem, and then you can swap your orbs around 2 times. And it also allows you to lock your slots for 2 turns. That's very interesting that he also locks orbs for 2 turns. Not too many characters lock orbs for 2 turns. So the fact that you have access to that is pretty good, especially when you understand what Luffy and Zoro do with the tandem orbs and what they do to them. Locking orbs for 2 turns is very, very good. But overall, he's decent. I wouldn't say he's like the most amazing rare recruit character in the game, but that's a decent special. It's not going to see a whole ton of play, but it's nice. As for his crewmate abilities, he's going to make type slots beneficial to himself, so all colored orbs are beneficial to himself. The secondary one, tandem slots are matching for your entire team. That is also a pretty good crewmate ability to have. Now, as for his support ability, he's going to support Zoro, Usopp, and Nico Robin. Reduce damage taken from side characters by 5%, and 13% of his HP is added to the support character. Yeah, that's not a very good support ability. Not really that good. Typically, if a character is a supporting unit, you want them to probably have attack boost of some kind. Obviously, if the character's a healing character, getting recovery is nice, but additional HP doesn't really help out that much. He does have pinch healing, where you get 1 times his recovery below 30% when you hit a perfect. That's not very good pinch healing. And he does have a critical hit chance of 90% chance for 8% extra damage. That's actually one of the better critical hits you can get in the game. So that's relatively surprising. But unfortunately, I don't think he's even like... He's probably the worst of the characters in this batch, honestly. I think he is the worst of the batch. And if you think that is like not too bad and he's the worst, then the rest of the characters are only going up from here, right? So the next character we'll talk about, let's talk about Carrot next, because the next character we'll talk about after Carrot is just insane. So this Carrot is a Dex fighter free spirit, the same class combination as the Frankie. So captain ability will boost attack by 3.25 to all characters when you attack with good, great, and then perfect without breaking the chain. Shout out to Log Luffy, shout out to the Good, Great, Perfect podcast. But no, her captain ability is not very good. So Carrot's special ability maxes down at a 12-turn cooldown after limit break and maxing her skill. It reduces your crew's despair and attack down duration by 3 turns. It also will change block orbs and badly matching slots into tandem, which is very good. Also will boost the type effects of normal attacks for your free spirit characters by 1.75 for 1 turn, which is 1.75 color affinity. Very, very nice. And if you land 3 perfects during that turn, you get 1.75 free spirit color affinity in the next turn as well. This Carrot is very nice, on top of being that, you know, color affinity for multiple different stages, the orb manipulator, as well as giving you access to some pretty decent utility, removing attack down and despair. This unit's very good. Unfortunately, I would have kind of preferred it is if they chopped off that second turn of color affinity and just made it 5 turns of despair and attack down removal. I feel like that would make this character way more usable. But it's still a good character either way. Pretty nice. As for her crewmate abilities, free spirit characters' tandem slots are going to be counted as beneficial, and also all crew slots will be set to tandem at the start of the fight. That's pretty good, especially once again when you talk about Luffy, Zoro, Soba Mask, etc. Very, very nice to have. Sailor ability or support ability is going to be 5% damage reduction, 9% of her attack is added. Okay, that's fair enough. And she has a critical hit of 70% chance for 8%. Not as good as Frankie's, but still pretty decent. And also a pinch healing of 1.5 times recovery healed below 50%. That's a much better pinch healing compared to Frankie. So overall, I think this character is just better. She's really, really good. So that's really nice. That's Carrot. Now, the final rare recruit of this batch, before we get into the 2 Sugo Fest exclusives, is gonna be this Usopp, Usohachi. This Usopp is insane. If you get this Usopp, be very, very happy. So this guy is a strength shooter free spirit. His captain ability will be a 1-turn cooldown reduction at the start of the quest and a 2.75 times attack to strength. Again, not a captain ability you're going to be using, but it's there. 12-turn max cooldown. He's going to go ahead and reduce all enemies' damage threshold, damage reduction, which is Rainbow Shield, and defense up, which is Blue Shield, all by 5 turns. He also reduces your crew's special charge time by 1 turn and delays all enemies by 2 turns. Amazing special ability. Like, this special ability is absolutely absurd, especially when you consider the fact that he has a crewmate ability that reduces his own special reverse charge time. So that means that you can use his specific ability to reduce your other character's cooldowns when your whole crew is rewinded. So good, because then he has the delay and then also the defensive capabilities to remove the defensive effects. Like, this Usopp is just absurdly powerful. One of the best rare recruits in the game, and he sees so much play in the future. So if you get this Usopp, be very, very happy. His secondary one will also going to go ahead and reduce your entire team's special bind duration by 1 turn. Like, what's there not to like about this guy? This guy is absolutely crazy. Freaking amazing. He does have a support ability, which will go ahead and give you dex damage reduction and 5% of his stats are added. That's fine. He also has a pinch healing of 1 times his recovery below 30%. So it's the same as Frankie's, and also has barrier penetration where you're above 50%, bypasses all barriers. Pretty typical of most shooter characters that you see these days. So there we go. That's Usohachi. Pretty good character overall. Now we can get into the Sugo Fest exclusive characters. Now this first one, Soba Mask, he is phenomenal. Like, he is one of the best legends in the game, even on Japan standards, even with their 6th anniversary celebrations. He is still one of the best legends in the game. So let's discuss why that is the case. So Soba Mask is a quick powerhouse free spirit, amazing class combination. Powerhouse free spirit is not very common. I know straight off the top of my head, another character that has this class combination is like Legend Garp. It's a very, very good class combination. Those 2 classes specifically are some of the best classes in the game. So his captain ability is going to go ahead and boost your entire crew's attack by 3.5 times, and he boosts their attack by 4.25 times when they have a tandem slot. So that's pretty straightforward. He's a rainbow captain, 3.5. If you've got a tandem slot, then it's 4.25. It's great. He also makes tandem slots have matching slot effects. Again, very good. And also boosts the chances of you landing on a tandem slot even further, which is another phenomenal effect that he has. Then he also reduces the special charge time by 1 turn at the start of the quest. So he's going to be a captain that's going to be able to blitz through content relatively quickly. He reminds me a lot of Snake Man as a captain. Snake Man as a captain, he's a 4 times captain after you use his special, a rainbow captain, reduced cooldown at the start of the quest, and then if you hit like 3 perfects, he gives you 4.25, something like that. Like, very, very similar to Snake Man overall. So that's really, really good, right? Because Snake Man is still one of the best legends in the game, and you got access to this guy as well. Now, the thing about this guy that makes him very, very good is he has this really powerful captain action called Vanish. Now, captain actions are not very common in the game anymore. It's funny because version 1 Sanji actually had a captain action. Version 2 Sanji did not have one. But now we're to, technically this is V3 Sanji being Soba Mask. He does have a captain action. Now, it's actually pretty similar to the version 1 in a certain way. So it states that for the next 3 turns, he protects himself from all status effects. Well, it's not all, but it's most. I don't remember if there's any specific ones that he doesn't dodge, but when you vanish with this guy, he basically avoids like a large majority of the game's debuffs that get inflicted to himself, like Bind, Despair, Paralysis, Special Bind, anything that inflicts the character's icon in the game, it's technically not there. He's vanished. He's not there. He cannot be inflicted with it. But that's not all he gets. He does not just get that. He gets an added effect where it says that he's going to make his own attacks ignore all defensive effects, including base defense. And on top of avoiding all of those defensive effects, when this guy does his normal attacks while this captain action is active, it does 500 times his attack as additional non-type bonus damage on top of his own normal attacks, which essentially means that when this guy attacks, he bypasses all defensive effects, including blue shields, and he does like 1,000,000 damage by himself on top of whatever his damage is from his normal attacks. Now the really cool thing is you can actually launch both of these Sanji specials, and both of them, like if you have both captains up, both of them will be dealing over 1,000,000 damage that bypasses all defensive effects. This is extremely strong. Now remember, this is a captain action. This only launches if he is the captain. So even still, he's going to be one of the best units to have in the game just by bypassing defensive effects with that amount of damage, including base defense. It's one of the best abilities in the game. And considering he's already a 4.25 rainbow, and once we go through his special ability as well, you guys understand why he is so good. So his special ability maxes down in 11 turns, and it states that he changes all slots, including block, into tandem, which of course activates his higher 4.25 captain effect, and it boosts all characters' attack by 1.75 times for 1 turn. Then it has an added effect that if you launch his special in the same turn, like again, you get a 2.5 times rainbow attack boost instead. Now there are a couple of different ways you actually are able to achieve this. If you have this guy only as a solo captain and you're hybriding him up with someone else, then you're not really going to be getting this. But if you have double Soba Mask, you can launch one special, then launch the other one special, and because they have the same special name, this will count. So you'll get a 2.5 times attack boost. But if you run him as a sub, this is actually really accessible because he has a really powerful crewmate ability that allows you to reduce his own cooldown by 4 turns every time another special is used. So you can go ahead and launch his special, get your orbs, get your attack boost, launch 4 other specials, and then he'll be ready to go once again. But remember, if you've got another special ability that reduces cooldowns even more, like it'll take less amount of specials depending on what type of other specials you're using here. But this is very good. Very, very good, because you can get a full board of tandem orbs and a 2.5 rainbow attack boost. It is just absurdly powerful. His other one states that tandem slots are going to be beneficial for your entire team, so there's that. So when you use his special as a sub, you've got matching slots, which is great. Now, he does have really cool potential abilities. So he has critical attack, 50% chance for 10% extra damage. That's a little bit of a downfall here. Only 50% chance is kind of shit, honestly. There are so many other legends in the game that have a much higher crit chance. I would have loved it if it was like 80 or 90% chance, but look, it is what it is. He does have a pinch healing, which is 1.5 times recovery healed below 50%. That's about stock standard. And he does have a recovery bind, if I could click the right button. He does have recovery bind, which is healing 10 turns of recovery bind, which is actually pretty high. That's on the high end of recovery bind potential abilities. He does have a support ability as well, only supporting Usopp and Frankie, but it says that once per quest, when the supported character uses their special, your whole team gets a 1.3 times attack boost. That's pretty good, right? Especially if there's like a mechanic where the boss interrupts attack boost. It's nice just to just get one for free. It's not a very big attack boost, but it's an attack boost nonetheless, right? Or you could use it on a mini boss stage just to get an additional amount of damage, right? So it's a good special. It's a good special, good captain ability, good support ability, great crewmate abilities. He's great. Like, Soba Mask is one of the best legends in the game. So really happy to see that he's in the game right now. So cool. I cannot wait to potentially pull this guy. I hope I'm able to pull him. But either way, we have one more character to talk about, and that's going to be Luffytaro and Zorojuro. So let's talk about these guys. Let's talk about each of their solo forms first. So Luffy is a strength slasher free spirit, and also you've got Zoro, who's also a dex slasher free spirit. So they have slasher and free spirit no matter what character is out at the time, which I think is a good thing, right? It makes it a lot easier to build teams. So his captain ability for Luffy is going to be boosting free spirit and slashes by 3 times, HP by 1.3 times, and slightly increases the chances of you landing on a tandem slot. Now, this is a new mechanic for this character where it says makes tandem slots into Wano slots. Wano slots are a little bit different from your generic tandem slot because what they are instead, as it states here, boosts attack by 2.5 times, cannot be changed by crew or enemies. So if you guys remember rainbow slots where the enemy cannot change those orbs around and you cannot change those orbs around, once you have a rainbow orb, nothing can be changed to that orb. Like, you can't touch the orb. But with a normal matching orb or a beneficial slot, you're normally dealing 2 times attack, you know, with additional damage. The Wano slot is a more enhanced version of a matching slot where it gives you 2.5 times attack instead. So that is extremely strong to have that. And then it also states that if a character on your team attacks with super effectiveness, then they get given a guaranteed Wano slot in the next turn. So in this example, you've got Luffy, who's a strength unit. If Luffy attacks a Dex character, which is super effective damage, in the following turn, he gets given a Wano slot. It's so good. It is so powerful because those orbs, once again, as we said, they can't be changed by any means. So you can just attack with your type advantage, get those orbs, and then if the enemy would do something to change those orbs around, you're basically safe. It is so powerful, this effect. Now, moving over to Zoro, it's pretty similar in a way. So he's going to be 3.25 times attack instead, and the rest of it looks to be about the same, if I remember correctly. He's 3 times attack, 1.3 health. Everything looks the same. It might be a little bit incorrect here, but from what I'm seeing so far, it looks to be that they're about the same. It's just Zoro has higher attack multiplier, which is fine. Whatever, it is what it is. But let's talk about what happens when you combine them. So when you combine them, they're going to be a 4 times attack boost with a 1.3 health, and then everything essentially is the same. So remember, they're only a 4 times attack, which is a little bit of a downfall compared to a lot of the other powerful, a lot of the more powerful dual units in the game. A lot of the more powerful dual units are 4.25, 4.5. This guy being only 4 times, you might think that's a little bit harsh for the character. But you gotta remember, Wano slots are a thing. And when you calculate it all out, it approximates their captain ability to be about a 4.47 if you have a Wano slot active. So it ends up balancing out at the end, but it just means that you have to work a little harder to get those Wano slots on your team. But if you do get those Wano slots, it's extremely powerful. So let's talk about their special ability as well. So it's a 13 turn max cooldown, and it states that it does 250 times their attack in type damage to all enemies. That is so much damage. That's over 500,000 damage if I remember correctly. Like, that is huge, and it's AoE damage. Then, you get a 3 times chain lock for 1 turn, and they fuse for 3 turns into Luffytaro and Zorojuro, and then they also are an orb booster. So they're going to go ahead and boost the orbs of Free Spirit and Slasher characters based on the number of Wano or Tandem slots that you've consumed before you've launched their special. So no matter what, when you launch their special, it's going to be a 2 times orb boost to Slasher and Free Spirit, and that's if you've consumed 0 to 7 Wano slots. If you've consumed 8 to 14 Wano slots before you launch their special, it's going to be a 2.5 times orb boost. And then if you've consumed 15 or more Wano or Tandem slots before you launch their special, you get a 2.75 times orb boost for 1 turn. Yes, that is pretty powerful. That is extremely good. And yeah, as it says there, you can use Wano or Tandem slots. So remember, they only get Wano slots if they're the captain. If you're using them as a sub, Wano slots will not be appearing. So that's why you're able to use Tandem slots instead in order to actually get that that orb boost to be enhanced, basically. So that's the full rundown of their captain and special ability. Very, very strong characters there. Now, they do have a crewmate ability of boosting base stats of Slasher and Free Spirits by 75, and also makes your entire team's Tandem slots matching as well. Very similar to Soba Mask, right? So very, very similar. Now, of course, as a dual unit, they do not have access to a support effect, but remember, they don't have that, but they have a switch ability. Now, this switch ability, in my opinion, is one of the best in the game. It gives them a guaranteed Tandem slot, so if they are the captain, they get a guaranteed Wano slot, and it will also go ahead and reduce your crew's slot bind, special bind, and despair, all by 1 turn. Now remember, if you're running double Luffytaro and Zorojuro, you can activate that switch twice per turn, so it's basically 2 turn removal of slot bind, special bind, and despair every single turn. This character is just so powerful in terms of overall damage output, as well as having a lot of HP. They are very, very tanky, and remember, because they boost both Slashers and Free Spirits, you can actually go ahead and use the Polar Tank ship, the Lore ship from the Training Forest, and if you get in low HP, you can use the ship special to heal you back up. And because they are Free Spirit as well, there's a lot of good Free Spirit healers, like the Limited Rare Recruit Bonnie, for example, who also has really good utility. Luffytaro and Zorojuro have a lot going for them. Now, just to finish off this video real quick, let's talk about their potential abilities. So they have 7 turns of slotbind resistance, which is a little bad. I wish it was a little more. They also have critical hit, which is 50% chance for 7%. Again, That's really disappointing because that's a relatively low crit chance. I wish it was a lot higher. And they also have a pinch healing of 1.5 times their recovery below 50%. So their potential abilities are actually pretty disappointing in my eyes. I'm not a big fan of those, but the overall kit of the character is just so strong. So there we go. That is going to be the full rundown of all of the characters arriving in this particular Sugo Fest batch. Luffytaro, Zorojuro, and Soba Mask all are going to be arriving on May 25th at 1900 PST time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today, and if you guys did, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.